Yo, what up, man? It's your boy Bodine, and you are now tuned to another episode of STL versus Everybody. Unfortunately, we couldn't be in the studio this week. I came down with a cold. Not sure like if it's COVID or anything. I had to wait till I go to the doctor to get that checked out. But I do have my brother in the building, Mr. Jimmy.
How
Is
you
it
doing?
Willie?
Sewell, yeah,
Sewell, okay.
Sewell. Or if you're a telemarketer, it's Sewell. But you
Sewell.
know, Jimmy usually gets the job done.
Yeah, man, Jimmy, man. Man, it's been an honor to know you, bro. Like I just learned so much
Likewise.
from you. You know what I'm saying? Just a man with like many gems. But
Well, I appreciate you having me on, and I'm a big fan as well, man. So thank you so much.
most definitely, man. So shoot, man, let's get into it, bro.
Let's
Uh,
do it.
tell us a little bit about yourself, man. Like where did you know what I'm saying, start off from?
So I was born and raised in North County, Ferguson, and Hazelwood. Went to Hazelwood West for junior high. Then I went to CBC for high school. After that, I went to Florissant Valley for like 2 weeks till my car got stolen and my books were in it and everything else. And I just kind of after that didn't go back to college. I wish now that I did. I hope to get an honorary degree sometime. So anybody out there that could make that happen, But then I always knew as a kid I was into marketing and like brands. Even if I wasn't into, let's say, snowboarding, I knew what cool snowboards were or like what the brands were. So I've always been a brand guy. And around probably 99, 2000, I started getting into eBay, power selling, and going to garage sales and doing all that. And then kind of from there, it just led to doing more work on the computer. And before you know it, I had taken an internship at Drive Agency, which was it's no longer around. It's not the Drive Social that's out there now, but I got a chance to do a lot of work for big box brands like Budweiser, Hardee's, Heineken, Playboy, all the big guys. And then all along I was kind of moonlighting, doing my own thing. And then 2005, I branched out full time and started what's now Mascot Agency. At the time, it was under a different name that we had to change because of a trademark dispute. But yeah, man, I just like helping people solve. Like I like to creatively solve problems. That's what I think that I do. And then I also enjoy just helping people in business. That can be from where I shop in the community to like where I spend dollars at to designing something, creating some sort of design or functionality to help excel people's business. So the idea behind Mascot is essentially the business owners are like the coaches, the workers are like the players, but win, lose, or draw, the mascots running around on the sideline kind of rallying support and building team spirit, and that's kind of what we want to be.
And that fits your character too.
Yeah. So I was happy as hell when I got the trademark for Mascot because I learned an expensive lesson on the last company name. And
what's the last company name?
It was called Grip Agency, GRIP. So if you were somewhere and like people would say like flip or drip, so it wasn't as easy to say or remember and things like that. Kind of like when you hear it. With Mascot, it's usually, is there 2 T's on it, like MASCOT. Some people want to add an extra T to it, but other than that, it's like you say Mascot, you kind of get it. Mm-hmm. And believe it or not, my trademark attorney was the gentleman that did the first Slew Billiken illustration, right? Oh, so I was thinking I'm going to get like hoorays, when I told him my name, and he told me don't do it. And he thought that people would just call me for fuzzy mascots and, stuff like that. But, that's only happened twice. And one time we got him to the right guys, and the other time we designed it and got it to the right guys to make it happen. So other than that, I love it.
Now, did you create the logo?
Chad. So actually, you know what? I take that back. Janelle, a worker of mine, came up. We were picking fonts. I knew I wanted like a nice, clean font, and we found Simplicita Pro. And then she took it from there. It's always a collaborative effort. You know, I feel like I'm a creative generalist. I'm really good at going broad and knowing about a lot of different things, and knowing enough to take it into the end zone, you know, take it all the way to the house if I have to. But I like to work with specialists. So like how you in your realm, or, you know, anybody in that, be it video to design. So usually it's a collaborative effort. I really don't like to take too much credit for every single thing that we do, because even if it is something I did, it's bits and pieces I've taken from other experiences and stuff. So yeah, the thing I like about the Mascot font, it's called Simplicity Pro, and I knew I just wanted a nice, clean font, and I'm sure we'll show a picture of it at some point. But the baseline, which is like the middle line between the logo, it's like the MASCOT goes over perfectly. So it's like it just worked out great. And then all the little characters I have, those are kind of like meant to be just an ever evolving world, you know. So
Yeah, I actually what's the concept behind like the characters with the big eyes and stuff like that.
I mean, you know, you've been in the office, so man, I like anything. I see faces in almost anything, and I feel like if it has eyes, it has life. And so, and people, you look at things differently, you know, when something's like a being versus an object. So I like to create, you know, if anything has eyes, legs, a mouth, nose, you know. So we have a whole bunch of different, you know, characters, and I'm always wanting to collaborate and work with more to develop just a whole world of, you know, kind of fun characters, fun designs. And the idea was like the font won't change, kind of like a Nike font or anything else, but the I guess the face of it, kind of the you know, the character. So we like to say creative with characters, so it can just ever be, you know, ever evolving. So I need to get busy and make some more for sure.
Definitely. And it's with the Mascot agency, like you guys make shirts and stuff too, right? I know like when people go down to like the dungeon where everything happens.
The design dungeon.
Yeah, man, it's a whole bunch of, you know what I'm saying, I forgot what it's called, but they're on like
pylon. Yeah, those little cheap, you know,
yeah.
rather than waste the shirt, you print it on that. So
Yeah.
yeah, we design. I like to say almost, you know, we do all sorts of stuff. So from t-shirt printing, we have a 6-color press, so we can do 6 colors on white, 5 colors on black. You know, it's a pretty nice press. Down there too, we have a wood shop, so we do logos and signage and things like that. We built a really cool DJ booth for the On God Arts Hotel. We built a super cool thing for Night Chasers and Red Bull. It was called it's like a Red Bull drop. So we built a giant disco ball that looked like it fell out of the sky and cracked. And you just filled it with Red Bull and dropped it off at a corner somewhere, and kids came and got Red Bull out of it, which is pretty cool. And like, those are all things I never really, you know, thought that you know, you can't go to school to learn how to do anything like that. It's kind of on the job training. Sure. And then on top of that, it's just kind of, you never know where creativity has led me. It's been everywhere from what you would normally expect: logos, t-shirts, print ads, things of that nature, all the way into doing trial graphics and demonstratives for lawyers. So in a trial, a lawyer may want to show, you know, this guy has this many trees on his property and this guy only has 2, to like, you know, so demonstratives and stuff like that, timelines, to, you know, things like the DJ booth for the art hotel and, you know, stuff like that. So
I didn't know y'all made that.
Mm-hmm.
I always thought that it was cool. I said,
appreciate it.
Fast booth, man, but I never knew that y'all like made it.
Yeah, we made that. So the thing I'm most proud about with that is the direction that David Mascot, which was kind of in charge of things over there, and he had been part of like Studio 54 and all sorts of really cool stuff, is he just said, I want you, when you see it, I want it to make you smile. Okay. Mm-hmm. So that was all the direction we had. So then we kind of went to work with like the colors of the hotel. And really I was looking at this reel to reel, and it looked like C3PO or some sort of like owl character. Then I was like, what if we, you know, kind of like brought, a bunch of little characters together. Cause again, I love that stuff.
Sure.
And the thing I'm the most proud of though is like we built it in a way that it fits in every nook and cranny of the hotel. So it'll go down every hall, make every turn, you know what I mean? Fit on every elevator, which I've done stuff before that I didn't have that side of things. It looked cool, but it wasn't functional. So, I feel like when you get all those things, like art is art. It can be subjective. You can see one thing and I can see something else. But if we were going to eat cereal or try to cut a steak, most people are going to go to the spoon, and the steak knife and stuff like that. So it's like, that's more of a design. So I like to try to intersect art and design, or like functionality and some sort of fashion to it. And it's not always a success, but when it is, it's super cool.
When you being that you work with like a lot of companies, is it like a pretty high the demanding job? Can it get real like stressful? Or do I take multiple things on at like once, or do you kind of space everything out?
It's, typically for me, it's usually like feast or famine. So I'm either like super busy or it's kind of like you're looking for stuff to do, which I don't really mind either one. My biggest, I would say the biggest benefit on all of this is the people you work with, be it the clients, your team. The only stress I get isn't from like coming up with a solution or the time management or anything. It's really just not letting the end, your client and then their customers down. So if you can kind of check the box of the person that hired you is happy, and then they take it and use it and their end user is happy with it, that's a success. And I would say that's what we aim for. For me, it's somewhat seasonal, kind of around this time of year, the end of the year. People, their budgets are kind of spent a little bit. You got taxes coming up, holiday bonuses. It's the end of the year. But come January, people are like, oh, this is the year we're going to do this or do that. And then that goes till about, summer, when kids get out of school and you start taking vacations and golfing. And then all of a sudden the summer goes by and people get to September and they're like, oh crap, like half the year's gone, like, or, like we only got a little bit of time. And then they try to fit that into about, around now after Halloween, the at least in my experience, the ad world kind of like there's work, but it's not like new people beating down your door that need stuff. It's kind of just like tidying up the end of the year stuff and things like that. But it's a great industry.
Do you think that if you had like a degree, would you be as successful as you were in the industry that you're in, or not having a degree kind of made you work harder to get to where you're at now?
That's a really good question, and I've never even thought about that. I would say I feel like I would be further. Don't get me wrong. I had to work harder to maintain this same, trajectory. However, like there was a lot of stuff that I feel like I could have, mistakes that I didn't have to make. And the work ethic, it's like you either have it or you don't. And so I feel like I may not have ended up exactly where I'm at. And it's hard to say whether I'd be further ahead or behind. But I also feel like anytime you get to study your field, study your profession, learn from other people, the biggest problem with certain stuff as far as like somebody that art is give you a lot of the fundamentals. So like color theory, fonts, information architecture, some of these things don't change the grid. It doesn't change as rapidly as certain technology. So if you're trying to like, HTML5 or CS, there's technology's always advancing, and sometimes like the most skillful like innovators in that field aren't necessarily teaching at your local college. They're out here trailblazing. So I feel like if you try to go learn technical aspects versus like kind of the overall, I guess like higher level, you're probably going to have to continually evolve that, you know, because I remember a time where I was designing, like there wasn't websites and it was direct mail, and then there was a website, and then there's apps, and then there's, you know, so it's like, and it's just ongoing. So I feel like you have to kind of evolve with it. And, you know, Bruce Lee, we're big fans of that. So like, you know, be water and just be green, and, you know, so I try to do that, you know, and I've learned that like, it's tough for me. Like, I don't know, you probably been at Jack in the Box with them fancy soda machine things that were like, I'm like, what the heck is this? And I feel like my old man or something, you know, but like, so I always have to kind of remind myself of like, just because I always did it this way, it may not be the best way for it to do. And I should be open to learning new ways to do things myself, as well as allowing others to do things the way that maybe they see best. As long as we get the results we want, you know, it's like there's more than one way to get to your house. And that's kind of, you know, you have to trust your own gut. You have to trust your team. And, you know, so really framing a problem and knowing that everybody on your team's going to that direction and wants it. You know, it's like find a way or make one. And I feel like school would have given me more tools, but the what's in here to like do it or don't, you know, that's something you just got to kind of want or have. And I don't necessarily think school will give you that. But
yeah, you know, and that's kind of like the same thing with teaching. Like, although like we go to like I like went to school for teaching, and teachers in my like school, like any school that I was at, they could teach better than me. Like they can sweep me up under the rug. Like they got more knowledge, all of that. But it takes more than just having a degree and like the book smarts in order to be like a successful teacher.
Information and implementation. You can have the information and give it to other people to implement, but if you really want to, and you got to be doing all that on the fly, you know. So like, you know, they say the rear, you know, the windshield's this big and the rear view's that big. So, you know, a lot of it is just kind of like how you learn from, you know, I know, and there's a lot of cliches like, you know, I don't lose, I learn lessons, and I believe in all that, you know, but a lot of it is just like, make new mistakes, allow yourself the freedom to not do everything perfect. You're not going to do much if you you know how it is with recording or anything. When you picked up martial arts, it wasn't like you just went in and were, you know, whipping people's butts day one. You know, it's an acquired taste, and like all this stuff is similar to that. So I give myself flexibility. You know, I try to make my mistakes as fast as I can and as cheap as I can. Don't make the same one twice. Try to learn from it. You know, and everybody has a to-do list, but your to-don't list is just as important. Stuff that you know doesn't work, you know, keep that in top of mind so that you don't make that mistake twice. And that's where being a good mentor or having a good system, you know, if I already made a mistake and I can keep you from making it, you know, that's, you know, but then it's up to you. I always tell people like, you can't give somebody advice, you know, you can only give them information. And from that, they extract advice if they want to. So, you know, that's kind of, I've learned a lot from people that are doing stuff right and people that are doing stuff wrong. So if you're smart enough to kind of learn both, you know, sometimes you can just, you know, you can pick up cues from anybody. It doesn't just have to be, you know, the people winning out here. You can look at what people aren't doing right and, you know, make sure you don't follow suit on that. So good habits and bad habits both form the same way, you know?
Yeah. Well, you, I know you're a family man. Would you, if your kids was like, hey, Pops, I don't want to go to school. I don't want to go to college. I want to pursue, you know what I'm saying, either like what you're doing, or I want to pursue something else that doesn't necessarily require like school. How would you feel about that?
You know, it's tough because I feel like knowing that I'm at where I'm at, wishing I had one, not so much because I feel like other people are smarter or this or that. Mostly it's just because now I realize what a college education is really trying to give you not only the information there, but it's really just a series, like an acumen test of showing up when you don't feel good. Maybe you went out the night before, or multiple deadlines. So it's like, there's a lot of different stuff there. And I feel like when you get out there in the real, you just start taking like, it's like running into, you know, fist after fist and pitfalls. So I would urge them to do unless I really knew that what they want to do was like what they were meant to do. Like, I feel like people have something that they were designed to do. And if, and sometimes you may not know that's their calling right away, but I would support them in anything that they do. But I feel like it's a really good opportunity to, if you don't know, find out, and even if you go to college and you still don't know what you want to do, you know, just kind of get through the part of before you become like a full blown adult. Not saying people that go to college aren't adults or something, but like while you have this little bit of time to kind of learn and explore and grow, you know, just kind of like learn how to deal with multiple personalities, from different teaching types to group projects to this to deadlines, and just kind of see how you react to that stuff. Because you know, for me, it was kind of like you know, an A, B, C, or F or whatever in D isn't the same as like, oh damn, I just lost $1,000 on this project. Or, oh man, like, you know what I mean? Like, I've made mistake. It's like, that's, you know, like, you can retake a class and yeah, that costs money and so on and so forth. But really, that doesn't hurt anybody but yourself or your parents if they're helping you. Whereas when you mess up a job for a client, you know, not only does it cost money, but it costs the company in terms of like time or profitability, or, you know what I'm saying? Like missing something important. So, you know, I would definitely say try to get like your sea legs in school if you could, just based off the fact that, you know, there's a lot of good information out there, and you really got to stay hungry and thirsty and like on the quest for it, because it's super easy, whether you go to college and then get out or don't go, to just kind of be headstrong and not, you know, you see my office, I have tons of books. I read stuff constantly, listen to podcasts. And, you know, I don't always have to agree and like adapt everything that I read, but, you know, I try to surround myself, like the answers are out there, especially in what I'm doing. You know, I'm not like curing cancer. I'm not doing space aviation types. I mean, this is just like, you know, coming up with good ideas that are sticky, and implementing them. So, you know, if you've seen somebody that's done something, there's a place that does it that can help you do it. Maybe you don't have the money for it. Okay, well, how do you get that? Or could you get the capabilities? You know, when I was at the ad agency I worked at, I would be walking around writing down serial numbers of like wire binders and all sorts of little weird stuff, just because it was like, I was like, oh, that's how this works. You know, I could do this for people if I had this machine. And then you learn about it. Maybe you can't buy that machine, but you can buy one similar and make it work like the more expensive one. So it's just really a find a way or make one type mentality. And sometimes you don't make everything the best, but as long as you stay busy trying to make, and, you know, committed to like the output. Because I feel like with creativity, a lot of people, it's kind of like dinner. If I said, hey man, come to my house to have dinner, okay, and we're sitting around the table and the food's in the oven, it's safe in the oven. You can't you know, you don't say, oh, there's, you know, you don't have anything to say about my stuff because it's still in the oven. Once you know, bring it out to the table and serve it, really only then is a cook or my job, once it's out there in the wild and ready for it to be consumed, is my work done. But as a creative person, we're makers. We're not necessarily finishers or stuff like that. So it's, you know, and like anything, like a song, you'd be like, I don't know. You know, I'm like, man, get that stuff out, because like, not that you should.
Work's never done.
Yeah, it's never done. And like at the end of the day, yeah, you're always going to be getting better, or maybe not. Maybe people like this version of you and not that.
Yeah.
I also feel like with creativity, it's so easy to like stay married to it and not want to push it out there in the world, because it can be an ugly place, and, you know, your idea can get stolen, trampled on, you know, it could just fail.
You got a lot of people, man, who who's very talented, but they don't want to let the world know that they're in a relationship with this art. You know what I'm saying?
It's a big risk, you know, because like when you get to control it, like you can think your chicken in the oven's the best thing ever, and nobody can tell you otherwise. There's no voice that's telling you, you know, it's not. But the minute you give it to somebody, it's the chicken's dry or it's overcooked, or so you know.
This ain't taste like Chick-fil-A, man.
Yeah, exactly. You know, so but that's what's beautiful about most of this stuff, especially with creativity, be it music, design, art, fashion. It's subjective. There's no right or wrong. If you want right or wrong answers, you should be like an accountant, you know, where it balances. Like at the end of the day, you can give all these people the numbers. It's like it computes to something that evens out. Creativity is not like that, you know.
That's how I treat my English class. Like instead of just looking for like a specific answer out the book, I give like they're making inferences questions. You know what I'm saying? Like who do you feel, or why do you feel this happened, or who's guilty, or whatever. Give me textual evidence to support your answer, and I'll get like 3 or 4 different answers. You know what I mean? So like everything is subjective. Shit, even math. Like although like it's still like one, you know, answer. You know, it's different ways to get that answer. You know
Absolutely,
what I mean?
absolutely. And if you didn't get the right answer, maybe you're just off by a little, and learning that, you know, like where it's right and where it's wrong. You know, I mean, I guess like with creativity, it's like, okay, would you consider mass appeal success? If everybody's like, which do you like, the old Pepsi logo or the new Pepsi logo? And everybody took a poll, it still don't make it right. You know what I mean? So like, you know, and so, yeah, I feel like people have to have enough belief in like their own, or know that it's like, it's just like, not even like it's a hobby versus a profession. Just if you're not ready to share your art, that's totally cool. But don't feel like you're the same as the artists that do. Because, you know, anybody will tell you, like, I mean, look at somebody like a Kanye West that's gone, like, you know, maybe people at one point, there's probably a Kanye West song that you like, and maybe today you feel this way or that way about him. So he's gained fans, he's lost fans, but he remained true to himself and what he's doing in a way that I feel like that's the ultimate vulnerability, is to be able to like, yeah, dude, I did spaz out, or I did mess it. You know, it's like own that stuff and you know, don't dwell on it and try to learn from it. But at the end of the day, people are people are human. They make mistakes, and ultimately, as long as you keep trying and you keep producing, you know, like, because that's what most people want. We want fans, we want clients, we want support and recognition. But unless you get out there and you make yourself, like, you know, put yourself in the game, then you won't get it. And sometimes, you know, it don't go your way in the game. But I feel like a lot of people sit on the sideline and try to find a way in, versus just kind of like, hey man, boom, here's my first music video I did.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, man, if I, you know, if I looked at like my first website, like some of the first shit I ever did, man, you know, I'd be like, I would have told myself to quit too. You know what I mean? But I didn't know better.
We didn't bumped our head way more times than we didn't landed perfectly.
100%. You know what I mean?
Even now, still, like, you know.
Yep. I mean, you see it. Yeah.
Like things may be, you know, more advanced or evolved, but it's still like a long way to go. Like, yeah, we, you know, reached this, you know, plateau, but it's still, you know, what I'm saying, more feet to go.
And each new level presents, you know, new opportunities to grow, to learn. I would support them. I'll support anybody in what they want to do, as long as I believe that that their heart's in it. And then I also usually just ask people, because again, it's your decision, but if you want my information on it, this is my, you know, I would give them any concerns that I had, and not in a way that tries to deviate them. It's not like, no, don't go left, go right. It would just be like, okay, like, hey, here's some good news if you're going this way, but hey, have you also thought about, like, you know, hey, here's a couple of things, you know, it's cold this way, bring a coat, you know, like give them some advice on supporting it that way. And then also try to show them some ideas of like, hey man, maybe you could still do that and go to school, or so on and so forth. And then give people information. You know, one thing I see with people like arguing back and forth online about certain stuff, politics or whatever the case may be, is most people don't want to just say, oh, you know what, Bo, you're right. Like, Bo didn't change my mind. He told me this and I just got it. You know, like maybe we got that as kids from our parents when they're like, no, this is that. And you're just like, okay. But nowadays, most people want to like discover that information for themselves. Most people want make their mind up for themselves. So you're not really going to change somebody's mind because like a person convinced against their will is of the same mind still. So I may say, okay, Bodine, yep, but I don't believe it, but I go with you. Mm-hmm. But if you make me question certain things and I go to do my own research, or I look into what you're talking about and I come back and I make up my own mind, well, now I'm convinced and can go forward with it in a more compelling, you know, way. So I feel like that's, people want to like tell people stuff because you feel like you're right. And it's like, you know, people should ask the question, like you said, the English prompts of like, hey, you know, here's a couple of things, like multiple answers or stuff like that. Like give them tools to do it. So that's mostly what I do, is just kind of plant a couple of those, you know, little jewels as far as like what my 2 cents are, and know that it's just my 2 cents, and that either way, whether they go left or go right, I would support them, you know, and whatever I could do.
Well, yeah, we're gonna take a quick break right quick, and we're gonna come back and have more of this deep, thoughtful discussion with my boy Jimmy.
Ramble.
Mascot Agency, you dig?
Yep.
This started with an idea. I remember people that were like, dude, you'll never make this work.
It went from like, we'll have this thing that's cool that we might be able to drive around to, we're gonna break a world record.
Purchasing a bus, man.
Hey, who needs a ride? You need a ride, dude?
STL Sticker Swap, a local collective of artists, designers, brands, and sticker lovers, will be teaming up with Bi-State Metro, the city bus guys, to attempt to set a Guinness Book of World Records for the most stickers on a city bus.
The plan is to place, get this guys, 28,000 unique stickers on a 40-foot long Metro bus.
It's actually pretty interesting. They got a bunch of stickers and going for a Guinness Book of World Records.
That's right. They're teaming up with Bi-State Metro to attempt a Guinness World Record for the most stickers on a city bus.
How about that? Do you have a sticker and want to help set a world record? Then send them on over to STLstickerbus.com.
Everything I have is sticky, so this kind of makes sense that
Stickers.
we're gonna gum this thing up.
The Guinness judge is about to be here. Best behavior. If I wasn't scared before, I'm scared now. You know, today we win, lose, or draw, but either way, it's been a hell of a ride. $28,000 is a big number, I know that much. I've never even been to this part of an imagination.
All right, well, shoot, man. We back. STLvsErrbody. Got my dude Jimmy from the Mascot Agency blessing us with this, you know what I'm saying, time. I wanted to get into, you know, you guys were doing this thing called Coffee with Creatives. And like it was pretty big for the city, you know what I'm saying, when it was still like, you know, going. And you even had me on there. I didn't make mine. I had CC Sharpie came in and did mine, did an excellent job. But I mean, like that was a very good look for like the creative scene. How did you, like, what made you want to even, you know, come up with something like that?
First off, shouts out to the On God's Art Hotel. Luckily, I was just fortunate enough to kind of be in the right place at the right time while everything was coming together. And they were looking for some different types of programming. You know, I came up with drinking draws and a couple other things, you know, things. I don't even drink coffee. So, you know, just goes to show I was more interested in cocktails with creatives. But the time slot and everything at the onset when we came up with the programming, the hotel wasn't even open.
Right.
So we were just coming up with things, and we picked an off time that we knew all the spaces that we were going to try to do it in would be available, and so on and so forth. So it was on Wednesdays at noon. We had free donuts, compliments of Strange Donuts, free coffee, compliments of the Grand Tavern at the Art Hotel. And really it was just we wanted the Art Hotel to be like a crossroads for creativity in St. Louis, like a somewhere that, you know, while the hotel is, you know, somewhat you know, a higher end, like it's still in the creative community. And so we thought about, like, you know, I'm a big proponent of TED Talks and things like that. So we thought about, like, what better way than just create a platform that people could come share and tap into whatever stuff that, you know, was out there. So it started kind of with a personal network of people that I knew, and then grew to people that came to them, knew somebody that should do one, or so on and so forth. And, you know, I learned something unique. Even people I knew for a long time, when you put them in that type of open discussion, you know, kind of short story form with Q&A, I learned something each and every time, and it was amazing. It was super cool to watch, like Mastermind. Some dude kind of was like, hey, I'm trying to get into music and so on and so forth. And I have this skill set, and Mastermind's kind of like, I'm looking for a dude that has that. And like, now you see them two dudes out, and they're like thick as thieves, you know, just like doing their thing, and multiple networking stuff. So like, honestly, I didn't think it would go as long as it did. That's probably one of the things I've done the most of, like, consistently, you know, like
How long did it go for?
it was I believe we did 52 of them, and it was every week with a couple exceptions. Like, we took like a break in a like a holiday break, kind of from middle of December through New Year's. And then a couple times, like, where there'd be like an off week or a holiday would fall on something. So it was about, I'd say, a year and a half. And, you know, 50 plus, it was either 48 or 52. And then we were kind of still, you know, going through everything and getting ready to get back rocking and rolling before COVID hit. And now I believe that Vanessa at the Art Hotel is gonna take it and run with it, and she was passionate about it, and, you know, that, which is cool for me, because again, you guys know me, I'm not like, I'm a behind the scenes guy. I don't really look forward to every Wednesday getting up in front of a group of people that I don't know, and even people I do know, sometimes I'm shy, and you know what I mean. So, but it was super cool to be a part of it, and I think it worked out really good for the hotel. Like, we had surveys, and a lot of people had come, and they were like, this is my first time at the hotel. And then eventually we started doing tours, and, you know, and to watch that, and to have people show up and want to partake in it, I thought was super cool. And it was super organic and natural. There was nothing forced about it. There was nothing like advertised in terms of, like, there was no ulterior motive other than, like, yo, come tap into some creativity, some good energy, free donuts, you know, cool space. And so I feel like when you have things that are pure and, like, unbiased, as far as, like, we had no, whether 20 people came or 100 people came, you know, like, it didn't diminish the, you know, the quality of it. Man, I learned all sorts of cool stuff about a lot of cool people. Everybody I know from, like, you know, accurate and connected dots. So, like, I can go back and trace a lot of different dots. And I feel like that's what I'm good at, or, like, I think creativity is a lot of times just, like, being a conduit between different things. And I feel like Coffee with Creatives was, like, a great conduit for creativity and for platforms for people to share it. I still have, like, a lot of the early content. You know, for me, what ended up happening is, like, by scheduling, like trying to say like, all right, you're going to come do this day, be here at this time. What do you need? This, that, and the other. I was filming them doing, I never really got the good footage. I have a lot of footage. It would be like next week would be around before I could turn around the edit and stuff. But one day I hope to get a podcast or get that footage up, because a lot of people would like come and be like, dude, I couldn't be here last week. I missed so-and-so. Like, man, and like, man, there was some really good information in there for everybody. So it was cool.
How does it, like, just me being around you and everything, like you know so much, like you read a lot, you know what I'm saying? You network with like a lot of people. What is the importance of like reading and like just being a sponge?
I feel like it's of the utmost importance. And because you get like a sponge, it fills up and then you rinse it, but there's some water that retains in the sponge. It's not like you rinse the sponge completely dry. So that's why I feel like, I don't have to like wholeheartedly believe and invest in everything I digest. A lot of it is like put it in there, see what kind of goes through. When I was doing copywriting and advertising, I'd walk down to the library on 14th Street downtown. And when I was looking for like a brand name for a hunting rifle scope or something, I'd go look in just old books of, it could be Latin, it could be, Greek mythology. And, I would just look for words and, things like that. And I know you being an artist, like if you have a lexicon of information, if you just have, the more you have, and like, I feel like as kids, at least where I feel like I grew up, and it's probably everywhere, is like being smart isn't cool for some reason. Then all of a sudden you get older. Like, I mean, it is cool, but like I enjoy knowing about like history. I enjoy knowing, multiple, like just the word of the day, screensaver and other stuff like that, just because it's like, you never know, especially if you're in a creative field, how you could use that. Just like with you with rhyming or anything like that, or like taking words and breaking them in half and stuff like that. So I feel like it's super important, but I feel like certain people aren't good, like don't want to sit down and read. So it's like, maybe you need to, a podcast. Maybe it's more like a coffee with creatives where you have, more of a Q&A, a verbal discussion. So I feel like if you're interested in something and you're passionate about it, you'll go on that quest. And if not, sometimes it's just good to keep like your brain fresh and just give it a little bit of some new stuff to check out. But it's I think it's super important. And I also feel like you have to be careful too about like, where you get your information to make sure you're staying, kind of like well-rounded, so you don't just go down one path, because I was raised Catholic, but my dad's sisters, one was agnostic and one was atheist, so I have my mom and dad saying like, JC is this, that, and the other. And then somebody else being like, man, this is Darwin. There's nothing out here for you. And then something's like, there is something, but maybe it's this, maybe it's that. So like, it kind of led me into a quest to be like, I love all these people. I love both my aunts and my mom and dad. So I don't know who's right. So, I would just go around, and then I still don't necessarily know, but I know that it's okay to have different points of view, and that, it doesn't make, again, it's subjective. Like, does it really matter if I'm right or you're right? Like, as long as I believe in something and I'm trying to get to where I'm going, and you do the same, and I don't get in your way and you don't get in mine, and I respect you and you respect me, we can get along fine, But people it's way easier to tell other people what to do and control other people than it is to, so that's kind of where I've tried to like, do what you say you're going to do, and just kind of like mind your, keep your side of the street clean, and like do that part, and then let other people, like, not everything requires a response on the internet or your opinion. If you're asked, you should be able to share it and it should be respected. But, I don't have to have a comment on I don't have to comment on everything, but I'm entitled to opinion on whatever I want. But you're entitled to tell me my opinion means nothing. So, you know what I mean? Like, again, it's all Einstein said it best. He said all that exists is atoms and opinions. So it's like you got wood, metal, glass, water, so you have like real substance, and then you have just, man,
Opinion.
because we say it is. Yeah.
Yeah.
And look at our shit. We park on driveways and drive on parkways, and you know what I mean?
Don't know like what certain things in the Bible actually really mean. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's opinion based with like even that stories about the Garden of Eden and Revelations, and it's all assumptions of like what it is.
And my best there's a guy named Scott Adams. He draws the Dilbert comic. I don't know if you've ever seen Dilbert. He's like the little business dude.
Yeah.
And you would think he's just an illustrator, but he wrote a book called God's Debris, and it's a fiction, nonfiction book, but it's about an old guy in a wheelchair and a dude in a UPS truck delivers a package, and the guy ends up being like God, so to speak. But it doesn't tell you what his religion is, or this or that. And long story short, he's kind of like, all the religions should act like they're all kind of name brands or something. But if you look at a religion as like compassion, forgiveness, sense of a higher power, all the stuff that most religions have in there, and you looked at it as far as like a stained glass, and there's a bunch of bees that swarm down on a church. And so some are looking through and they're seeing it as a blue, the inside of the church is blue. And the ones up here that's a different colored piece of glass, they see it as red. One's yellow. And as long as like what's on the inside is like, making you a better person, you know what I'm saying? It's not infringing on me, I'm all for it. Be whatever you want to be. You know what I mean?
One thing that I, heard that you do, like you always like, although, you're further than other people, that's in your career, or just people in general, like you always share your knowledge of stuff that you like know, or like you're quick to help somebody out, with things. How important is that?
I think it's paramount. I mean, I think you would know, as far as being a teacher, that like you could know something, but when you go teach it, it'll help you kind of learn it in a different way. You know what I mean? Because sometimes I'm just automating and like I know what to do, but when I'm trying to explain it, it kind of makes me recalibrate and think about a good way to actually, transfer that knowledge. And then so sometimes it's kind of like a different way to learn something. And I feel like A, it's just my personality type. B, a lot of people took time to show me stuff that they didn't have to, and a lot of times I didn't get it first crack or so on and so forth. But without people, kind of like, I mean, that's all you really get to leave here is like, like kind of what I feel like, success is really how many people you empower, how many people you motivate. It's not about anything else like that. So if, who knows, if you get the knowledge and at least now you have knowledge of it, now we can have a better discussion. So like when your students know the subject matter, now maybe they can challenge you on something, or maybe they can give you a viewpoint that you weren't thinking of before because they're knowledgeable. So yeah. I always kind of want to make sure everybody's looking at stuff from like that point. And then B, it's like sometimes it's fun. I mean, it's probably just showing off, dude. Like, look at this, check me out. But no, man, mostly I think it's super important. I wish I wish I had it done more to me, but I've been blessed with people that have shown me all sorts of things. And then likewise, I wish I had more time. One day, maybe after I get that honorary degree, I'll join you on some sort of faculty board, and we'll start a school of some sort.
Hopefully I'll be a principal by then, man.
Yeah, just give me like grace period, 5-10 minutes late to class.
You good? I'll probably be late my man, so you cool.
There you go. But yeah, I mean, how it is with the teaching thing. It's difficult sometimes, but man, I mean, and then it's super cool to watch people get it and excel. So it's like and then you can learn from them.
Oh man, I like learn from my kids all the time. Even like when we be going over certain lessons and or stories, and I hear their perspective, I'd be like, oh, okay, I ain't never think of it like that. You know what I'm saying? That's
Right.
you know what I'm saying? That's that was pretty clever.
Right.
Or when we just having like discussion about certain topics and hearing their perspective, it makes me look at it, you know what I'm saying, differently. Okay, I didn't feel like that. Like these
Right.
kids are smarter than we give them credit for, man.
Right.
Not
I mean, look at all these
teenagers,
tools they
but
have. Yeah. Look at how fast look at when we grew up, it wasn't as rapid of information. Now it's like stuff is just like we're getting it, they're getting it, and they're younger and still developing at a quicker rate. So, they definitely are like way smarter. Give a little kid, a 4 or 5 year old, a phone and watch him zip around on that thing.
for sure.
You know what I'm saying? And then give your grandpa that phone.
They don't know what to do.
And so with life experience, and it's not just technology. It can be like that with certain concepts on like community organizing or anything. Sometimes people get old, they get rigid. So I always feel like, and a lot of times with focus groups or anything like that in advertising or any sort of marketing, they'll try to bring in kids because they're honest, they're fresh, they're not jaded, and they see things as like a why not versus like, how come or how so. So, yeah.
What's your, I know but, you are involved in like the Audacity Music Group. What made you want to get into working with like artists?
Oh man, like I feel like music. I wish I was more musically inclined, but it's been a part of my life. I'm getting there, off beat a little bit, but I've been whole life. My godfather had a recording studio and, had like a Trans Am with speakers, and For Music was his license plate, and he'd be recording on reel to reel and like built the studio in his basement. And then, I'd always just mess around. And the thing I love all the arts, but what I really appreciate about music is you can enjoy it while you do other things. So you can listen to music while you paint or edit video, right, or, design a logo or something like that. So it's kind of the soundtrack to, so much stuff. And for me, what I personally enjoy about it is like when we go down there and record. So you have a guy and he's just a producer. He puts some sounds together and then he just puts it out there in the world. Like, hey, here's kind of a blank canvas. And then I can watch somebody like you in a matter of 15 minutes. Maybe it takes an hour, but 20 minutes, go put something down. Now you've married these two things, you know what I'm saying? Like, and you could give that beat to somebody else and somebody else would do something different on it. Or maybe it ends up further collaborating. But really what I enjoy is the shortness, even though I'm not trying to say like an album or something takes time. I like the fact that you can go in at 7 or 8 or whatever, and an hour and a half, 2 hours later, you got something that's like timeless and evokes emotion every time you hear it. It doesn't diminish, for most, like, it's like that type of lightning striking and creativity. It's like, and because you can do it multiple times, like if like your Fro Nation logo, like boom, once you've seen it, you're like, that's it. That's that lightning one time. Now you can take that and keep going with it. But, so, and then on top of that, I just feel like music is such a powerful tool for, a messaging of any sort. So from a marketing standpoint, obviously you have all of those things, and mostly just, man, like people that make, you guys are just cool. Everybody I know in music is unique, like humble, because they do know, like, it's like, it sounds dope when it comes out, but maybe there's that one word where you're like, damn, it's a tongue twister. And it took me 3. So, I just enjoy being around that creative community in any way possible. And man, it's a blessing because like being able to like hear some of that stuff first or like be a part of that creative process, man, it's amazing. And so I just really enjoy I enjoy making things and being a part of stuff, getting, manufactured and like it's super cool because like I just hear sounds and melodies. I don't know how to put, you know, words and choruses and all that stuff together. So to watch people kind of build on these cadences and, you know, different rhythms and stuff, and it just kind of comes out of nowhere. You know, it's like you can kind of watch me design a logo and take this font and change it and make it bigger, or watch, you know, somebody paint something, but you guys are just kind of whispering or writing something down, then boom, you go in, you know, deliver a sermon. So, and then just the fact that like, I could think like a lot of stuff I do is cool, but like, at the end of the day, people like aren't going to be as excited about maybe a new logo I did for a contracting company as they would a song, you know what I mean? Or so on and so forth. So I feel like the reach and the audience, you know, and it's really the feeling and the part of like just watching it come together like that. Like, I mean, look at how much music, you know, we've created in this short time down there.
Oh yeah, we did all this. We done made albums.
Everybody's sitting on like, yeah.
You sitting on albums, bro.
We're probably sitting on like, you know, 150 songs between everybody, if not more. I mean, you know, and that's just what stuff's been done down there. You know, like
got an album. We can put out two albums a month, probably more. Like that's like, this is being like nice.
Right. And it's all solid.
Yeah.
You know, there's nothing that's like, oh, we're not going to use it. Like, there's not much stuff that doesn't get, and that's what's amazing is like, and then watching all you guys come together, because we're a DIY city. So it's like, man, you just kind of do it yourself. Right. But together, somebody will be like, man, like, well, I got a mic, you got a mixer, you know what I'm saying? Like, my cousin's an engineer, you know, before you know it, boom, boom, boom. Yeah.
Bring them all aboard, man.
Mm-hmm. And like, we need more stuff like that. And I know that certain people, you know, it's kind of like if people want to be a part of something, you have to figure out a way to angle in or do something like parallel or perpendicular to it in a way. So it's kind of like, I feel like a lot of times people in anything, be it your career, your passion, or whatever, it's like, and it's not like the Nike just do it, but like, man, do something. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, just try to get out there and rock and roll. And I feel like that's all we've been doing, man, is just consistently going to work and, you know, like doing what we do best. And when it comes together like that, it's great, you know, and it's 'cause it's not forced, you know, it's not like, if you don't feel like going down there, you don't go down there. Yep. If you feel like going down there, you go down there. And it's like, kind of like, so that's kind of what I like about creativity in general is like, I always say like, I'm 24/7, you know, 365 or 7 days a week in holidays. Mm-hmm. But that doesn't mean I'm always working like that. You know, you won't, a lot of times you'll see me, but I'm always like, I'm looking at packaging, you know, like I could be at the,
like, you don't got to always be
store, but thinking about, ooh, what if I took this? And,
yeah. You don't always be working to work.
Right. You don't have to be recording to be a musician. You can be a musician at, you know,
at a concert, or just listening to somebody else like record.
Absolutely.
A lot of times, like now that I'm older, like I may take like a week off of just not doing nothing, just chilling, watching TV,
recalibrating,
and then that next week I'm back at it. You know what I mean?
Yep. Because you like the sponge fill back up, and it's time to rain on.
Well, I got one more question for you, bro, man. Okay. What advice would you give to like upcoming entrepreneurs or just people just chasing their dreams? Like, what advice would you give them?
I would just say try to surround yourself with people that will tell you that will support you and that will try to cut you down, you know, so you like people that basically meaning like, don't hide behind tree, you know, like literally go get the yeses and the nos, or the people kind of like let people start poking holes into your ideas right away, which is one thing I've learned that it's something when you're like, don't pop my balloon. Like my balloon is like, no, let people try to get at it, 'cause it's going to make you better. And I would also just kind of say like, be persistent. The years know much that the days never do. So 6 months in, okay, that's how many days, but like from 2005 till now, I can tell you certain days that I remember that maybe something great happened or so on and so forth. But like the knowledge, like the compound interest of just, consistently going. So consistency and frequency. So you don't have to be the best. You just have to be consistent, and you have to be, like continually doing it. So it's like you can't be great and then fall off the map and come back and be mediocre. It's like you can be consistently mediocre, mm-hmm. and be okay. You know what I mean? Like, but so meaning like, don't worry about who's best or this, that, or the other. The other thing is a lot of people out here want to have all the latest and greatest. Like they'll find barriers to entry. Oh, I don't have this camera. I don't have this. It's like, man, at the end of the day, if you're like a real, a lot of people go and they stock up on all this gear and or buy all this. It's like, man, if you can't do it, like a lot of these guys, like National Geographic photographers, you only get to take like 2 cameras, a couple lenses, like, you pack light. So you don't really have to, grow at your own rate. And man, know what you want. Like, know at the end of the day, I got a list of some stuff that I've wanted to do. I want to do a Super Bowl commercial. So from kickoff to the confetti fund, you know what I mean? I'll give me 15, 30, 60. I don't care. I don't care who it's for. I just want to be in there, and that's something that, every time I get a certain opportunity, I always make sure I throw that out there. Whether I do it or not, who knows? It's not like I can die happy without doing it, but I certainly know when I see certain opportunities, like, maybe with Tyron and Budweiser or this or that, I'll start, kind of like pushing the envelope that way. So if you don't have a really good idea of where you want to go, you'll end up anywhere. But if you just consistently kind of one foot in front of the other, I say by the inch it's a cinch, but by the yard it's hard. So systematically, I try to break stuff down into like where I'm at and where I want to go in 5 steps. And then, because you have like one, like on a ruler, most people see 1, 1.5, 2, 2.5. Okay. But maybe if you're a craftsman or something, these like 1 3/4. And okay, nobody applauds you when you get to 1 3/4. Mm-hmm. You're not 2 inches, you're at 1 3, but man, it's a hop, skip, and a jump to 2. Look at this. I'm sliding down the backside of 1.5 to 2. So like, be your own champion by being disciplined and knowing that the steps are going to end up, accumulating. So like I said, the years know much, the days never do. So if you really want it, don't give up and diversify your your regiment to allow you to not lose sight of where you want to go, but adapt to certain things. Like maybe you gotta, like I listened to Matt, you're saying I stepped out, media outlaws, saying I stepped out and it kind of wasn't time. So sometimes you gotta like know when to hold them and when to fold them. But if you really want it, and you're willing to go after it, but here's a couple of things. Number one, get your domain name, buy your domain name. If you got an idea for a company, go do some research, first of all, on Google. Search for it. It's called a knockout search. If it's open, I go get a Gmail account. That gets me the YouTube, plus I got the Gmail. I go sign up for Facebook, Instagram, all that stuff. Secure all your online properties, right? Get the domain name. Control all that stuff. Don't let your homeboy get it. You get it. It's easier to just let people do stuff. No, control all that, because you never know where that's going to go wrong. And when you get enough money, go get a trademark if you really want it. Because, I've had a couple of things that with trademarks and, ultimately like protect yourself and your business. And a trademark is a really good way to ensure that you have it. And man, just provide value, man. There's a lot of people want to check or want to work for themselves. It's like, man, I just want to help people. That's it. So it's easy for me to like, whether you call me a bit, like, man, as long as I'm doing what I'm doing, don't really care what other metrics I'm being measured by, because it's like, as long as my box that I'm happy and, you know, my family's I can keep these basic necessities, you know, I don't have to be the biggest or the best or the this or that, you know, like I'm cool with marching in my own drum because I know what I need out of it. And, you know, sometimes that won't be what your partner needs or your parents need or your investors need or whatever the case may be. So, you know what you want out of it, man, and then just don't quit till you get it. And then if you need marketing, hit us up.
Hold on, Jimmy, you still there?
Yeah, I think somehow somebody got through here. Somebody tried calling me.
Excuse me.
If this was live, that'd be a customer right there now.
Right. Well, man, it definitely was a pleasure having you on here.
Pleasure's on mine, bro.
I'm saying,
appreciate you.
Appreciate you, bro. Make sure you guys follow the Mascot Agency on IG. Is the website mascotagency.com?
Yeah, mascotagency.com. Haven't updated it in a while, but we'll be making some updates, and mostly, man, just tap in. You know,
business with my mom. He'll make shirts.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Make shirts, man. We like helping people. We like seeing what you got going on, even if we're not the guys to do it. You know, we're fans and supporters. You know, I support stuff I'm not a part of too. So, man, let us know what you got going on, and if we can help, for sure, and if we can support, you know, 100% we will. I appreciate everybody listening. You know, probably like on my side, my mom, my dad. You know, thanks for checking it out. You know, all you guys for putting up with me, and appreciate y'all, man. Thank you so much.
STL versus everybody. You dig?
Peace.
We out.